Everybody, welcome to the show. What y'all think of this new leaderboard thing? It shows up Bitcoin breaking out. David, Don, Rob, Hugh, Ivan, Sergio, Diane, Will, Diana, Terry, Donald, Ed, Scott, General Rush, Carlos, Darren, Kevin, David, Aki, Joseph, Jan, Ted, and Cliff. Good morning, everybody. Look at this baby go. Anybody surprised that we're actually going higher here? Now, I do caution. It's going to be a red zone right here. Could be a red zone. Look at this. Right there. That could be an issue. Could be. We could top out here. Now, don't necessarily think so, but the caution is in my mind here. We pulled back right there, and that's the 1272. We might be able to hit the 1618, so watch out for resistance right here. That could kick off stuff I had back here. Kick off that pullback, and then the final move. Final countdown. I had this drawn back here that we might do this. We went a little deeper. And so now we potentially, let's see, let's just take that off. We got down almost to it. Let's just look at the bigger picture here. Yeah, I mean, we're cooking on the end of this Bitcoin breakout. Final move. I mean, when I say Bitcoin breakout, final move, we're talking about from back here, 2022, November, we bottomed out. Working on the final move. I know lots of people not believing it, not want to admit that, not going to talk about it, not going to, read the internet. There's tons of opinions about what Bitcoin's about to do. I'm just going to clean this up quite a bit. I'm getting sick of looking at all this stuff. It'll probably all come back tomorrow because that's the way it works. Let's kind of keep cleaning her up here. Said a lot of things over the last 3 years. A lot of things. And when we just look at it, look at this move, right? 3-day roadmap line. Yeah. Weekly roadmap line. Yeah. Get rid of that one. And we pop up and look at the monthly. Just now getting a monthly roadmap line. So we may run this thing out. So we've got this pullback right here from that high. Let's try to magnetize it if we can. Is it gonna pop on there? No. Awesome. Favorite when it doesn't work at all. There we go. And cool. There we go. So we've got our levels here. Actually snap that on. This is based on TradingView's numbers. Remember, every exchange stands alone. G stands alone. We've got this pullback is the one that's interesting to me right there. We bottomed November 22. We came up to the back to the high, struggled to get through, Popped right up to the 1272. Retested the breakout. Now guess where we're going? More than likely. When we get there, we see, is this the end? Is this just fantasy? Or do we do something crazy? Like come up here. Now, let's talk the law of big numbers, right? I've been talking 157,000. Why? The 4 of these big pullbacks we've done before. Maybe like, I didn't even know Bitcoin's done big pullbacks before. Guess what? Bitcoin does big pullbacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess what's coming next? Number 5. So that number right there, 163 or 173,000 and change. That's still roughly. Let's zoom it up here and get a little closer. Pull that up to here where we are. Right to, yeah, roughly 42% higher. 42% higher. That's a lot when we're talking about something as giant as this, right? 42% higher takes Bitcoin from, think about this. We're going to add roughly another $1 trillion. Roughly. It's not going to be exact. We can pop over here, grab the calculator. You go 2.424 times 0.42. Yeah, $1 trillion. I did it pretty darn close. Math brain working this morning. So that puts that up to, cool, $3.4 trillion to stop. Clicking on that. Jeez Louise. I can highlight it, but then I can't do anything else. Awesome. So 3.4 puts it right here. All right. If by some crazy means we were able to, what the heck is going on? Double this, 240,000. That would be, look at this. If we double that, we double this. $4.8 trillion. That puts it up here. Wow. That's a big number. That'd be to 242, roughly, from where we are right now. What if we got to the 272? 465? 465 divided by 121. That means Bitcoin's got to go up almost 400% from where we are right now. 3.8 times. So 2.42 times 3.8. It's going to be $9.2 trillion. Where does $9.2 trillion come from? How do we get there? Like when people are talking about this going to 1 million, where does $9.2 trillion come from? Just to get to here. Law of big numbers, all right? This is, why can't NVIDIA just go ripping higher? There's not that much money. Why can't Apple and why can't any of these make big moves? Real big moves. Because that's billions and trillions of dollars right there. So just remember, law of big numbers. We do have earnings coming up starting this week. And I can't turn it off, David. It's just the leaderboard is like it's a YouTube feature. They turned it on. It resets every live stream. I did think that maybe y'all can let me know what you think. Maybe for those that over the course of a month, I'll have to keep up. I'll have to keep up with it more. But over the course of a month, those that make the top leaderboard position the most, like the most date, you get the most top positions throughout the month, might do a giveaway for the most chatting. Thought about that. Now, Termite Trading Lab, hard to give you much because you've got everything. So you can let me know what you think. Comments in the chat, whatever. And rolling on through. And do you still like Pepe? I was talking to my kids last night about that. I have 165 million Pepe coins. Do I think it's going to do anything crazy? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Has a bullish setup. Gave the update in Crypto Power Plays if you want to know more information. So Ethereum catching up a little bit, but I am concerned here. This is only a move up, a retrace. Oh, cool. Gotta turn the magnet back off. It's gonna annoy the crap out of me. And it didn't snap to the bottom. Cool. God love, magnets are supposed to snap to the correct place, but they didn't. So this could be where, like, if we run this out right here, move up, retrace, move up, we could stall out right there. Not awesome. And let's see. Come see me in October, huh? Yeah, the leaves are beautiful in October here. Usually that's a pretty good time to come if you want to see all the leaves, but there's also the foosball that kind of dominates this town that time of year. Definitely want to be careful that way. And open a browser, visit, pop this out, check this out. This is what we have this week. The earnings roller coaster will start ramping up. We've got Fastenal this morning. We've got banks, lots of financial earnings. We've got United, which I have a trade on. We have Alcoa, which I have a trade on. Bullish on both of those. Delta was pretty bullish last week. Netflix coming up right here on Thursday. We can take a look at that one. Got PepsiCo in here. Cintas, US Bank, lots of financials. Banks, kind of a mixed bag. Some of them look like they might react negatively. Some of them look like they have further to go on the upside. Got some logistics in here. 3M. It's going to be interesting the next couple of weeks. And, this week is the start, kind of, as they say. Next week, going to be really jam-packed. The week after that, really, really jam-packed. So next week, ramp it up. The following week, really ramp it up. And these 2 weeks right here, probably the peak. Once we get through those 2 weeks right there, the last kind of, it's not even the full week of July, but the last week of July and the first week of August, then we'll start ramping it back down. This could be a roller coaster. We could see a lot of stuff happening. Now, we also have, it's going to be a big fun week here. Like, this is going to be a big fun couple of weeks, I guess. We have tomorrow morning, CPI right there. Then we get PPI on Wednesday. And we should have retail sales on Thursday. So I don't expect any big surprises because these are all in the right order. Bang, bang, bang. Just like I would expect. So back to normal there. We do have a bunch of Fed members speaking after retail sales and CPI PPI come out. So something's up. Not sure what they're gonna be talking about exactly. Now, this one's an interesting one. This is not colored red, but it is. I guess it doesn't move Forex much, but this can move the U.S. markets right here. Building permits and housing starts. I talked about how the U.S. economy runs on construction. Those are key construction measures right there. So we get those coming up on Friday. On top of earnings ramp here. Should be an interesting... Yeah, at least I have some stuff to talk about, right? We got some things to talk about this week. Between earnings and all that. So what is the best play to get into crypto right now? You're late is what the best play to get into crypto right now. I would be very, very careful. You have limited upside left. I don't care what anybody talks about. Yeah, these may be some of the best ways to play. If we're looking at a 42% upside left on Bitcoin, you could potentially make 80% right here. It'll be roughly to the 1618. Go from 60 to roughly 100, 110. I'd probably punch out at 100 if I was getting on that. That is leverage Bitcoin right there. BitX, another way to play. BTCL, another way to play. If you believe Ethereum is going to rip, there you go. I have some of this with a cost basis of like 100 because of the reverse split here. So still underwater. I mentioned a lot that if you didn't have any, 23 down there was this was a great place to load up. So now there's your opportunity, maybe to 150-ish, possibly. Could outperform. Like if we get that giant 3x move, like if Ethereum actually performs. And as always, you can make your choices. If you think Ethereum is actually going to break out, make the targets up here. Do some sort of crazy move and actually get an all-time high. Maybe at the 1.1448, maybe at the 1.272, maybe. Can we get to those levels? We got a long way to go. Sitting right down here. Could it do it? It's possible. That'd be a double from where we are. That's a 200% upside when you look at something like ETHU. Right here with the 2x leverage. Could be a possible 200%. Put you up here around 185. There's another one. ETHE, ETHT. Say the right letters in the right order. Possible 100% gain, 200%. That could be going from 56 to 165. Not too shabby right there. So, depends on how you want to play. These do have reverse splits. I would be careful. They're probably going to underperform on the upside. Yeah. Make a new all-time high. I mean, David, you know my opinion there. It's got to do a lot of stuff right. Got to do a lot of stuff right to get there. Circling back, S&P 500. Grinding. Let's look at the futures. Let's see what the futures have done since we reopened. Reopened last night. Made a lower low. And we're coming up into the 15-minute roadmap line test. We're still gap down from Friday's close. Right there. Nice 1, 2, 3. Correction. Well, remember what I said about going deep. Anybody remember that conversation from Friday? Thursday? I think I started it Thursday. First move down, retrace. Second move down. Potentially even bottom right there last night. How do we know? Like, how do you know if we actually bottom right there? Like, what's the signs? So because this was a leading diagonal, the next move may be also a diagonal. That would be kind of sucky and kind of the way this all works. When we have diagonals, the next move is likely to only take us into this vicinity right here before we do another big retrace. And that next big retrace probably take us all the way right back down here again. And we see how this choppiness worked, and then we chop down, tag that 786 almost to the 88, whatever it was. I can't. Ugh. Pulling a blank at the moment. And then Control C, Control V, and then we might do a third move. Or fourth move. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third move up. And that puts us in the vicinity of the target. $63.96 right there, and then 65, basically 6,600 above that. So looking at this, there's my little 15-minute arrows that could put us right up in the vicinity right there to potentially top out, and then get another correction before we can run on up to this level up here at 66. That's kind of maybe the next couple of weeks right there on S&P 500. NASDAQ, same sort of situation. Russell, be careful. If we break back below the roadmap line, we're set up for a bigger downside. I did take the 150 put off of the spread. So now I just have straight 180 puts long out to September. I took that 150 short put off the spread. You have to decide if that's right for you. It did cost me a little money, so it does up the risk in the trade slightly. Since it's down, there's no further gain by that decaying further. Oil, if we muster the breakout here back above this 618, around 72, probably going to shoot that higher. Gold, probably still working on this correction here. First move down, retrace, next move down. Then we're likely to follow that up with a 4 or 5. Bitcoin, already talked about. I mean, here's some lofty upside targets here. Maybe we can get up here. Maybe. If we copy the interesting thing here. Oh, look at that. Mara ripping finally. Let's go talk about that. First move, second move. If we're going to be bullish, we really want to see this get some continuation, but I don't know. We could wrap this up with a 3-wave move and stop right in this vicinity. Right in there. All these things are coming together right there. Ethereum futures. Watch out for that resistance right there at 4,600. NKD. Global liquidity indicator pulling back. So be careful. We're seeing Bitcoin breakouts. Ethereum trying to catch up. And our global liquidity indicator indicating that we may come back for roadmap line / bottom of the box test. Not this. You see what we've got, this kind of churning. Well, we've got this kind of pulling back a little bit. If we get another, if we actually get a breakout here, this one, these guys will probably rip right there. Probably rip. Dollar is set to rally back up. Watch the downtrend highs here. We reject off that, we'll come back down again. If we can break through, probably set to come up to the roadmap line test. 101, 102. That support down there, 95, that'd be a lower low. The lowest would be the lowest low in this whole correction off the high from back here in 22. All right, check the chat real quick. All righty. It's BitX, BITX, not BTIX. And look at the Mag 7s. See, we're seeing some struggle here. Apple not performing. Not breaking through that roadmap line. Not breaking through that 618 resistance. Gap down. Not getting the performance here. Off of, I mean, for a long time, everybody said, so goes Apple, so goes the market. So goes Apple. The market's doing its own thing now. So we've got a decoupling. Correlated when they're correlated, not when they're not. Be careful. Yeah, Goose, man. I sent you that image. I did not post it for myself. Let me, hold on. See if I can even find that. Oh, maybe I did post, maybe I did share it with myself. Let me see. No, I did not. Cool. And where is it? Here it is. All right, let me share this into my videos channel here. And I have a different chat hooked up. For my for the show here. So let me pull this over. Check this out. So this is correlation causation, right? Let's talk about this. These guys are causing the vehicle to go forward. This guy's still pushing hard. That's correlation right there. Right? The vehicle moves forward because of these guys. That's the cause, not because of this guy. All right? So when you think about it, like, correlation is correlated when it's correlated, but not when it's not. Like, these guys stop pushing. This guy, it doesn't matter how hard he's pushing. This vehicle is not rolling forward. So, be careful. Falling into mainstream media, market, idioms and analogies and, causalities and correlations. So the market is going higher without Apple. Apple's been doing jack squat since the tariff crap. And in fact, it topped out back here before Trump even took office, right? You say, well, Apple's woes are because of Trump. Something else going on here. And it looks like we're probably going to do something deeper. Amazon grinding the top of this resistance. First move down, potential for a second move down. Be careful. Chasing Amazon. Same sort of pattern right now. Google. Grinding this resistance. First move down. You see the theme here? Anybody see the recurring theme? Potential for a next move down. Be careful. Meta. First move down. Grinding the high. Went up a little higher than than the resistance here, but still can do first move down, second move down. It would be a flat. It wouldn't be like a big lower low probably in that case. Microsoft. Guess what? We already did this. We did the first move down. This started back in the summer of last year. Second move down, a little bigger, and now we're ripping. Upside target, 508. The potential above that, 565. Now we may see this retrace and go up, similar to the way Bitcoin did. Could take a few months while this one grinds down, this one grinds down, this one grinds down, this one grinds down. We could get a grind back down to the breakout level on Microsoft before we get the next pop. Nvidia hadn't really. This one's the oddball right here. We're still working on being super bullish. This maybe had the first move down, second move down. Wasn't very clear. We're just ripping, so we'll take this off at this point. This has risk that we topped out already. Hit that 1448. If we pull back, retest the breakout. Do we hold it? If we fold it, we may start the first move down, retrace, second move down thing. So we didn't do it over here. And Tesla, this one's got multiple layers here. It has the potential for that first move down, second move down, but we truncated it. So this could be setting up something way more bullish. If we run up into earnings, probably going to get a pullback. If we finish this flush down in this area around 270, buy earnings, probably pop on earnings. That's my thought right now. I'll revise it more as we get closer. So far, we don't have any clarity. We just have this first move down, second move down, but then we zoom out and we have this first move down, retrace into resistance. So this possibility that we get the second move down is still hanging out here. Probably not that big, probably closer to this big if we did it. Maybe down to that 160, but it still hangs out there as a possible extension down to 100 area, which would be a lower low potential than this low back here. First move down, retrace, second move down. Although we did get a higher high, but be careful. Could be a big flat, similar to what I was talking about on Meta, but this is bigger, like years long. All right, I go pull gainers, things moving 2 hours more up in the pre-market, put them on the list. This is biotech, we're not touching that. I'm not touching that. MSTR has the upside. Ooh, baby. I like it. I like this one for the potential to get to 600, 700, possibly 1,000 if things get really spicy. That right there. Just be what I expect right now. If we get to 617, it might be time to GTFO. Get the fudge out. You don't have a piece of it. This is the way to potentially play. Probably going to underperform the prior highs here. As you can see, MSTX up in this zone. I mean, MSTR up in this zone, but MSTX down here still suffering. Suffering. Pull that down all the way. Still down here. Not really moving. So, how do you know how far MSTX might move? Well, if we measure it from here to the targets, talking about a 37% upside. Double that on MSTX. Double it, MSTX. Roughly 74% upside. Let's round down, 70% upside. 70%. That just puts us right back to the 618 level. Right there, 82. So there you go. That might be it on MSTX. So if you're long MSTX, if you rode it down to the abyss, be careful. Right there. All right, AVAV. That's a small time frame correction. This is not the right list. I was like, does not look like the right list to me. And we should check Mara really, really quickly. It was breaking out. Had that alert. Cool. Yeah, there we go. ANSS. Package software. Almost up to that big target. Big pullback, big target. 429. Let's see. Mara. Into that 618 resistance right there. Talked about a lot of things. Let's just gain some clarity here. Let's go up a time frame or two. Let me show you what I see. This is what I've been chasing after for a couple years now. This big move up, this retrace, right? What do we expect? Just like Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, all of those. First move up, like this is just the same, just upside down. First move, second move. Even if it's in a correction, don't care. First move, second move. That puts us to ridiculous numbers. Absolute ridiculous. Do I think it can do that? I don't know. Maybe it's not log mode. Maybe it's just this mode. But this mode went way deeper than a 618. This looks more like bubble patterns. Big bubble, smaller bubble, smaller bubble, smaller bubble. Be careful. This is why it might fail. All right. First bubble, second bubble, third bubble. Be careful. All right. Put on a log scale. Doesn't look so crazy. Big move up, retrace, hold, and ridiculous target up there. Possible. Likely? Probably not. Possible? Yeah. So we've got this potential crazy move. Now, get up a little closer. First move up. Low, high, retrace. Found the support level. First move up, second move up. It's starting to look a little more reasonable. Control C, Control V. That puts it triple digits. Possible. Likely? I don't know. 1, 2, 3. Had a beautiful AB, absolutely beautiful correction. ABC. Perfect proportions. Talk about this right here. First move down, retrace, second move down, right into the support. Next move, potential for 100. It's the potential. Likely? I don't know. We don't have much to work off of right yet. Can it do crazy? Yeah, this has done crazy in the past. Can it do crazy again? Absolutely. Absolutely. First move, retrace. There you go, right around 100. 100. Now, getting down. A little tighter. A little more conservative. We're pushing through this 618. Right here. That target, 38. Same sort of stuff, 44. 38, 44. That'd be a really good conservative target if you're over leveraged. If you got too much exposure on Mora, you're like, where's a good spot to get out? Get my risk back in check, 38, 44. If that doesn't get you positive, or at least break even, you need to consider, how you're going to play it. Like, can you play it with some put credit spreads? Could you play it with some calls? Could you, how are you going to recover your money there? All right. be careful. When I got put a big chunk of shares, I was doing some credit spreads when we were just chopping around in here. This dip put me shares. I converted those shares into January 2026 calls with more calls than I had shares. More, when you unwrap the calls, 100 shares per call. I bought more calls than I had shares, sold the shares, reduced the money I had tied up in this. The cost basis for all of that ended up being up here around, I think, 22. At this point, almost back to scratch. If we get up here, I'm probably out of those right there. It's a tactic. Like when you get put shares, this is how you can do it. If you're still bullish on the stock, you can roll those into calls. Got to sell the shares, buy calls, buy more calls than you had shares. Make sure you got enough time. I went out to January 26th because I expect this whole thing to wrap up by October. Could this be all over in the next couple weeks? You betcha. We get up in here, definitely getting the heck out of Dodge. We get to triple digits, I'm off tomorrow. Maybe indefinitely. Don't care if it goes to 600 later. It's been a long, nasty hold. I've had to work my butt off to get out of it. If we get to that triple digits, I'm probably out. Just letting y'all know. Yeah, we're already, we're at 20, so you're break even, buddy. There we go. I think the next crypto winter is going to be nasty in Bitcoin. I'm not going to sugarcoat this a lot at all. Like this next crypto winter, it's going to be nasty. We talked about this, how we've got this pullback, this pullback, this pullback, this pullback. What do you think happens next out here? I love how it put all that stuff back on here. Removed. I told you it was going to put all that back on there. Beautiful. Spent all the time removing that crap and put it right back on there. Watch out. %, pullback. This right there, 77% pullback. Guess what? Probably going to do again. Where that puts it. You know what's going to have a hard time with that? That stock is going to get pummeled. You can say whatever you want to. You can be like, JT's wrong. I don't think we're going to do that. It's okay. I got pretty darn close on that one. I went all in on this one. Not buying Bitcoin. That was 84%. I went in all in on mining back on that pullback. Mining gear went in the crapper in the summer of 18 on that pullback. Look where this puts us, 26. I said we may never see 25 again, but that doesn't mean we can't see 26. We might get close to 25. Right there. That's the 2022 pullback. This is the 2017 pullback. Somewhere in that zone is probably where we're going to hit when we pull back. Even if we go higher, the percentages still stay in the same vicinity, 30 to 40,000. right there. It's going to be vicious. Absolutely vicious. Autodesk. Beautiful retrace. Expansion 340. S&PS was popping. Now we're dropping. This has the potential to come on up here. SONN. Wow. Look at all that nasty reverse splits in there. Don't trade that. You're going to lose money. SQFT. Lowest low, reverse split. Another dumpster fire. This one, hitting the resistance. I got the heck out off all my Connell leverage right there. Or most of it. Not all of it. I still have a little bit. I say all of it. I dumped a big chunk of it. So, dumped it at that level right there. Still has potential to push on up. For, you know, this is the all-time high right here. Major resistance right there. Major resistance. If we could get through, push on up 610. I don't know if we can do that. I mean, it could very well get there. Be awful spicy. This pullback right here, these are the targets right there at the all-time high. That's why I'm off. Added more in here and took it all off. Profit right there. Connell, underperforming. We may be able to get that target if we push on out on coin. But the downtrend of highs, we're sitting there right at it. If this turns down, game over for Connell. There. Biotech. CoreWeave, be careful. This may have already topped out. We hit the 2618. We come back down, retest this level, retest the breakout level, and possibly even go lower low. All possible on CoreWeave. Does not have to go higher, but if we do go higher, 347 would be the next upside crazy target up there. If we're going to do that. AppLovin. Grind in the roadmap line just above. First move down, second move down potential. First move down, Control C, Control V. Second move down, potential. Puts it down in this vicinity. Until we can hold this and break back above this high right there at 427. Still sits out here as a potential, just like all the Mag 7s. Now, if we were to break above, we'd be talking about targets up in here. There's your limited upside versus the potential downside. Risk. We talk about skewed risk reward. This is the risk right here versus the reward right here. Very small potential reward, very big potential risk. This did not look like it was finished, so be careful. BitX, we talked about BitCL. There's another one. BTCL, BITU, all those we talked about. NBIS, probably coming back to the roadmap line. SBET, yeah, this one's going again. This is as Ethereum climbs. This one is an Ethereum treasury, not a Bitcoin treasury. That held. I mean, look at that. Nice hold right there. This might rip. I might buy a couple shares just to see. This would just be fun to. This is a gamble, if anything. It's an absolute gamble right there. SBET on spit. First move up, Control C, Control V. Second move up, right there. FETC. Coming on up, 113. STX. Hey, getting into the target way earlier than I thought. That's just insane. When I talk about that first move up, second move up, look at this. First move up, Control C, Control V. Second move up. And look at the speed, this thing. Instead of matching time-wise, we're right up there. If this is going to be bullish, we'll go on up to 263. Retrace, and then go on up. QBTX. Be careful. That can come back down pretty viciously. Boeing pushing higher on news that it's not their fault for the India crash, but still looking for that big retrace right there. Standing on up, could extend to 266. Expect this bigger retrace at some point. Doesn't have to, but for me to get in, I need a retrace. Trend, pullback, continuation. That's what I do. With no pullback, there's no entry. 2x leverage on hood. 2x leverage on XXRP. Be careful. 53.68. GBTC. Pushing on through. 100 up there target. GNLN. Dumpster fire. Wow. Talking about a reverse split. 1 for 750. Another Robinhood leverage. RNA. Another piece of crap. Another piece of crap. Or another IONX. 2x leverage on IONQ. This looks like first move down. Retrace. Second move down. Something in the 40s. Robinhood. Watch for a top out at 109. MSTX I talked about. Try. Thomson Reuters. That just ripping right there. This is not one I've been looking at. 225 maybe upside. Be careful. Yeah, be careful. Significant resistance before we get another pullback. This very regularly pulls back. STRF, we're seeing people dump the preferred shares and go into the big upside potential on the common shares. STRF, STRK, these are MicroStrategy preferred shares. See a little bit of people dumping those to go after the main stock. Monogram. Not a constructively bullish potential. Another weekly pay on Robinhood. Be careful when we get the pullback. This is going to get wrecked. Pretty sure. BMNR. That's probably going to get wrecked. EasyBC. And we got the upside potential to 78 on that one. IBIT. This is BlackRock's potential 76. BitB potential for 73. Decliners. Now, these are things that we're dropping in the pre-market. Sometimes we can find opportunities here. And first move down, retrace. Second move down, potential. Probably wouldn't chase this until we were down at further levels. Put us down here around 260 on that one. INKT. Ridiculous pop last week. Probably got to take it back down here. CRWD. Played out to the target. Watch for the retrace of the roadmap line, if not a little deeper. PTC. Watch for that to come back to the roadmap line. DHR. Resistance to the roadmap line. Watch for the 618 retrace. It's only 3 waves up so far. Support right here at 180. If we get below that, we could come on down, lower low, 150. Remember all that housing starts and stuff? Could push that on down. Upstart. Back to the roadmap line, maybe. Has the potential to go on up to 114. MU. Retracing a little bit. First move down, second move down. A very lower time frame here. Very close here. First move down, retrace. Potential to come back to 114. Retest. We're really close. And then make the next move up. I still expect that to come on up to the target area on up here around 210. Net. First move down, second move down. Watch for support and the next expansion. The daily chart. We did tag the 1448. If we can hold the breakout. 212 on the upside. FAS. Still working on the breakout here. 209 is the upside. Financial earnings coming up this week. Starting tomorrow. Palladium. Probably going to pop on up to 123. Affirm. Probably coming back down to the roadmap line for a test before we move on up to 95 if we're going to do that. Stuff set up for, well, that already hit the target. BITO. So this one, be careful. It does get affected by the high dividend payout, but 24 upside right there. BXSL. Here's the high, here's the low. Potential 32.57. And VTR. I don't like that chart, but it's already hit the target on the small little move. And bias for the day, still expecting that bigger upside. Like the thing I drew on the futures chart, that's kind of what I expect heading forward. Probably a overlapping, topping, ending, diagonal type situation. Awesome. RKLB. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful move. I'm probably up a bunch. Holy fudge muffins. This won't show what I'm up. Look at that, baby. 84. Gonna try to make this to 50K by the end of the year. And, of course, the ultimate goal is to generate $50,000 a month in income. 3-month total right now hanging out at 9K, so roughly 3K a month. About 6% of the way to the 50K challenge target. On average, not bad at all. Beautiful. Can I make money in the markets? There you go. What's the profit P&L look like? Check this out. There you go. That's my P&L right there. Since tax day. How many other gurus show you their actual P&L right there? Nothing hidden. Every trade. Win, loss, draw. There's not many of us that show this. Follow somebody that actually shows you what they're doing. Right there. Real deal. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again later. Bye for now.